Hey everybody, what's going on? Helmite here, bringing you another video from Grab the Lantern today. Today I'm going to be giving you guys a brief rundown of the Season 7 World Championship Finals between Samsung Galaxy and SKTelecom T1. That is happening tonight at 12 a.m. Pacific time, I should say. It'll be happening even later for most of the world, or earlier if you're on the eastern half of the world, but regardless, Worlds is happening, Worlds is coming to an end, and I just wanted to go through the matchup and give a few of my thoughts on the subject. Now, let's start, obviously, with the reigning world champions, SKT. They've been absolutely dominant throughout the last few years, but I think this year they have looked a lot weaker than they have looked in any previous year. I think that SKT have shown a lot of weakness, especially against the European second seed and Misfits, took them to 5 games. Then RNG, the Chinese first seed, took them to 5 games. And RNG even put up a fight against Samsung Galaxy earlier in the tournament. They went 0-2 or 2-0 against them in the group stage. So SKT have had their issues throughout the tournament, especially teams have finally realized that you can exploit their early game. SKT will almost always pick to go late game because their macro, once they hit late, is just so impeccably good that they can win almost every single time. However, teams were able to exploit their weaker early game and get some early game wins. Now, the biggest thing going in SKT's favor is that they are masters of the 5-game series. If a series goes to 5, SKT win it almost every single time. So any team that's looking to beat them convincingly will need to do so in the first 3 games, and they need to stop SKT before they can adapt. SKTelecom is very, very good at figuring out what the team needs to do in later games of the series. So if you can go up 2-0 against SKT, even still, it's not necessarily a sure win, but it does limit the amount of time SKTelecom has to figure out your own game plan and counter it appropriately. I also think that 100% if Samsung Galaxy want to be able to win this, they cannot allow Faker to play Galio. That's been his ideal pick. He played it in all 5 games, I believe, against RNG. Absolutely need to get him off of that champion, as he's very good on it, and it gives him the opportunity to deal with some of the early aggression that teams will be looking to put against SKT. Now, Samsung Galaxy, on the other hand, have not looked nearly as good as they looked last year. Last year, it was almost a question of when, not if, Samsung Galaxy and SKT would face each other in the finals. This year, they've had to play a lot more scrappier, and they've had to be work a lot harder, I guess, in order to actually make it all the way. So it's not looking quite as good for Samsung Galaxy. However, they still have put up a good performance throughout the series. They were actually able to beat the #1 Korean seed Longshu Gaming in 4 games, which is a fantastic feat, because remember, Longshu beat SKT in 4 games during the summer LCK finals, so that's incredible. So if SSG could beat them, that's a feather in their cap. And then they were also able to methodically strangle out World Elite in 4 games earlier in the tournament in order to qualify for the finals. And that's kind of how Samsung Galaxy play. They get an early lead and they just kind of slowly squeeze the life out of the teams they play against. Primarily, this is because of ambition, just incredible early pressure off of this guy, and that actually synergizes really well with their game plan going into SKT. They'll need to have early pressure, and ambition can definitely put that forward. I also feel like the Cuvée is in an ideal matchup against Huni. I don't like Huni nearly as much as I liked Marin last year. I think that Huni is a lot more exploitable and a lot more tiltable, I guess, whereas Marin was just absolutely incredible. So I do think that this is a decent matchup for Cuvée to possibly get a lead in. The second biggest thing for SSG to worry about is not letting Crown get sucked into the 1v1 against Faker. Crown needs to be the one to be leaving lane and helping out his side lanes, helping them to get snowballing. If he can do this better than Faker can, their team is going to have a huge advantage in the early game that they can probably snowball into a lead. Now, the thing about this is you will have to take away the Galio from Faker, especially for that reason, because you can't outroam a Galio. There's almost no way to do it. I'm also wondering if Crown will bring out the Aurelion Soul that he played at last year's Worlds. He wasn't that great on the pick, but it was enough to get them success, so I wonder if Crown has been silently keeping that in his back pocket just for this matchup. As to who is going to win, honestly, I have no idea. This is going to be a very, very close matchup. I think it could go either way, really. I think SKT have been very weak. SSG, however, are not completely dominant. So It could really go either way. I think SSG beating Longshu is a good point towards them, but SKT are also the reigning world champions. It never pays to bet against them. If I absolutely had to pick, I would say Samsung Galaxy, but only so long as they can close out the series before 4 games. If it goes 5, SKT is going to win that 90% of the time. So the biggest thing is if SSG goes up even 1 game or 2 games to SKT, you have a hope. If SKT win game 1, I would not vote against them at all. But anyways, those are just my opinions. I would love to hear your guys' comments, especially on anything I've said tonight, or who you think is going to take home the Summoners Cup at the end of tonight. If you enjoy the video, go ahead and leave a like. And if you really enjoy the video, consider subscribing. I upload a video every Monday, Friday, and on patch days as well. And if you're hungry for more Grab the Lantern content, you can check out my blog, grabthelantern.tumblr.com. I upload an article just about each and every single day for your enjoyment. Once again, thank you guys so very much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I will talk to you all later.